many years ago, and for those of you that have heard my story, forgive me, I'm going to hear it again, but I know some of you have not. And I think it's really important that you hear from the beginning how I started and what my mindset was. I used to be in the accounting world when I worked full-time, and then I wanted to stay home with my children. When I started having children, we had a small house payment. Everybody called us first when they had anything to get rid of, because we probably could use it. And so we chose that life so that one of us could always be home with our kids. You know, we chose living simply. And that was great for about 7 years. And then my son, who's actually going off on Monday, he was very ill the first year of his life, and he had a lot of medical bills that they thought he had cystic fibrosis. That ended up just being a milk allergy, thank you Lord, but 5 specialists later, we were $27,000 in debt in 1986. And that was like $1 million to us, because we had no idea where that extra money was coming from. And that was from what the medical insurance didn't pay. That was over and above. That was our portion. But we also knew that if the Lord allowed it in our lives, He would take care of it as long as we were faithful. And of course, my husband being male, guys, you guys are very logical, and I so appreciate this about you, but he said, okay, we're going Christmas this year, you know, we don't need anything, the baby doesn't need anything. And I said, well, that's all well and good for us, but Chrissy's been through a lot this year. All the attention's been on Rich, you know, our little baby. And I said, she deserves a Christmas, and I could use a few nights out too. So I started my search for my business, and for a job. And here was my criteria. I didn't want to work Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Gets better. I didn't want a boss. I wanted to make at least $10 an hour to walk out the door with no child care or clothing costs or travel costs. And, you know, minimum wage was $3.85 at the time. And so my husband looked at me and goes, and I was only going to do it for 2 months. That's it. And so that's why I didn't want a boss, because I didn't want to say I quit, you know, and then be all disappointed they put all that time into me. My husband looked at me and go, oh, the grocery store manager's going to love you. Because there's no jobs out there like that. And I said, so there's got to be something I can do, you know. So and years before that, I had prayed for a ministry with women to do a job somehow, because I had been through quite a few things in life that were really tough. And, you know, never realizing that God was going to answer my prayer with the Pampered Chef. But I looked into 4 other companies, winnowed it down to 2. My friend, I sent her the invitation for 2, both shows for the same night. She goes, Nancy, if you put 2 demonstrators in your house, there won't be room for people. What's going on? I said, which one would you go to? Because they had pros and cons for each one. And she said, what are you doing? And I started crying. You know how you do that with your best friends. Well, some of us do that with their best friends. And so anyway, I said, I can't decide. She goes, if you're even looking into direct sales, you have to look into a company called The Pampered Chef. It was the best evening I spent away from my family, encouraging me and my family. And she said, and all their products are great. You're Italian, you love to cook. It'll be perfect for you. So I said, okay. So she got the phone number from the host from 1.5 years before. Took her 2 weeks. I'm sure she wasn't looking the whole time, but it finally came. And that's my first bit of wisdom for you. Everybody has to have business cards. If you're in business, be in business. You have to have business cards. I started through someone's business card. I never went to a show. I recruited myself, basically. And had that person still been with the Pampered Chef in my 4th year, she would have earned $60,000 just from my team. You never know where your business cards are going to go. In fact, I really encourage you and teach this to your team. Everything I'm talking to you, you may be way above this, but this is for your team members, for you to bring back to your team members. I give every single guest or person I meet 2 business cards. One for them to keep and another for them to give away. Because I always tell people, I love referrals. Put your name and number on the back and I will send you a referral gift. And I always ask every person, how did you get my name? Oh, well, Sally Johnson gave it to me. What's the phone number so I can call her and thank her and send her a gift. I get referrals all the time. All the time. So that's first and foremost. If you're having trouble spreading your business out, ask people to do it for you. I give a $10 gift certificate for a booking that holds. I get a $25 gift certificate for a recruit that qualifies. Okay? And they can just call me as long as they pick it up from my office, you know. We all got stuff, okay? Give it away. All right, so that's my first bit. So I started with the Pampered Chef, and my husband and I, well, excuse me, let me back up just for a minute, because when I was looking into the other companies, one of them was a company I couldn't afford their product, so I wanted it and just, you know, thought myself I can get it. And he goes, Nance, he goes, if you can't afford it, neither can your friends or family. He said, find something that's common to everyday living, reasonable in price, that everybody can afford. He goes, and then buy your luxury item. And that was a great bit of wisdom he gave me, because I kept looking for other companies, and that's when I came across the Pampered Chef. And Pampered Chef, to this day, 50% of their line is under $20. Some companies don't even have something under $20 for you to buy. So we still represent a kitchen. Everyone has a kitchen. People are getting rid of dining rooms, but they're not getting rid of the kitchen. They're making their kitchens bigger. People are cooking healthy today, healthier than they ever have since I've been cooking. I mean, there's so many different avenues that we can serve, the gluten-free, the dairy-free, all these different things that people are doing today, and your whole niche could be healthy cooking if that's what you're into, okay? And in fact, I do 12 different shows. I have to be honest, it's a different show because of the recipe, okay? But it makes you sound so grand, okay? Wow, she does 12 shows. No, it's, you know, margaritas and fajitas. It's, you know, the rush hour, you know, fajitas. It's death by chocolate. It's healthy living, you know, or healthy eating. You know, and it's just a matter of bringing a different niche. You know, it's ice cream social to taco bar, you know, whatever. The recipe is just the thing that brings the products and you and the people together, okay? But you are the one that represents the products. It's not about the recipe nearly as much as it's about helping people equip their kitchens with great tools. That's what we do, all right? We help them have fun in the kitchen or get out of that room faster than they ever knew how, okay? I have people that hate to cook that are very successful at this. They start out their show with, how many of you love to cook? How many of you hate to cook? Well, I'm going to show you how to get out of this room faster than you knew how. You know? And it's great because, you know, with the proper equipment, everything is easier, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So that's what we do. We bring the proper equipment to people, teach them how to do it, give them tips and encouragement in an area where, I'll tell you what, how many cooking shows do they watch every day and never do what they see? They're at home making our recipes that weekend, okay? So we're in a great spot. We couldn't be in a better spot. I wouldn't represent any other company, not just because of my position either. It's just because I believe we really have something to give and to serve people with more than any other. I mean, it's so long lasting. I've been in it 27 years in September, and it's more exciting today than it was in year 2. In fact, most of you probably wouldn't be here if you joined when I did, because there was not much good back then. We didn't have a catalog, we had a lousy host program, we didn't have a sales team teaching and videos and websites, and well, we didn't even have our computers. Okay, so that's how old I am, all right? So let's be real, okay? And I'll tell you, when email came along, I bought it, because I said, I'm never going to have time to make my phone calls, you know? And email is a problem. I have hundreds of emails a day, you know, so it's tough, but now there's Facebook, okay. Anyway, long story short, I worked my 2 nights, twice a week. And that was the other thing that my husband and I agreed, that 2 nights a week would work for our family. Little did I know that little agreement that we made would be the strong foundation that I built my business upon. Because what happens when you do 2 shows a week, you meet enough people, you meet between 80 and 100 people a month to get enough bookings. You know, you've heard the concept of enough. You get enough bookings, you get enough recruit leads, and you have time to call them back, okay, and follow up, which is always a problem with my people that do 4 and 5 shows a week, because they don't have time to follow up, okay? So they're great salespeople usually, but maybe not so great on the recruiting end because they're so focused on their personal business. I promise you, if you focus not only for half your time on your personal business, but half of the time on the growth of your business, by helping others and serving others, this will pay off for you in the long run. I promise. Anyone that's done it, when they do those 3 phone calls, 2 shows a week, and 1 recruit a month, anybody that's done it, their business soars. Because when you're doing those 2 shows a week, you're getting trips, you're getting the excellence awards, you're getting all the promotions that Pampered Chef gives us. You're seeing enough people naturally for them to, recruits literally to fall in your lap, if you're talking about it right, okay? And what you need to do is present a picture that says, we have many ways that you can wear this apron. Okay, you can wear it as a hobbyist, doing once or twice a month. You can wear it as a part-time consultant, doing once a week. Who wants to give up one night, 4 hours, to make $100 to $120? Is that worth it for you? How would that help your family? Then we have the full-time consultant, that is the person that does 2 nights a week. Now, many of you work full-time jobs and work 5 days a week, 8 hours. We're asking for 8 hours of your week, so 1 day. And you could possibly make the same amount of money if you work hard on host coaching, okay? And then we have what I call our career consultant. And that is someone who does the 2 shows a week and helps others do 2 shows a week. And they go into the management of our business. And they build a business underneath them. Now what I love about Pampered Chef is that business cannot be taken away from you unless you break a policy. I can't be fired. No one can tell me I have to do less or go on furlough. Well, I know that's happening in this area, in all the governments. Nobody's going to tell me I can't succeed. Nobody's going to tell me there's no promotion or no bonuses this month or this year. It's up to me completely. And when you embrace that power, it's amazing what can happen. So I'm telling you, in 2 nights a week, you can build a multi-million-dollar business, all right? And after my 2 months of doing what I started, I was going to go to my sales meeting. I had 56 slips of paper with names and addresses, all organized by towns. I was kind of anal back then. Not much has changed, okay? But I had it all organized like that, and I was going to give it to all my consultants, my sister consultants. There's only one man in the company at the time. And because I was done, I fulfilled what I needed to do. We had a great Christmas. We had some extra money for the medical bills, and so I was a happy girl. And that night, holding those pieces of paper in my hand, I said to my husband, I says, I'm giving away a business here. And he says, Nance, I put the babies to bed every night since they were born. His dad wasn't around. So that was something he did from the day they were born. He put those babies to bed. He says, if you want to still do this, go ahead. You're having a ball. You're impacting people's lives. And I'm fine. What I realized is not one person came up to me during those first 2 months of me doing business, and I never talked about recruiting once. Never recruited anybody, not one time in that 2 months because of my mindset. I was leaving, remember? I didn't want any responsibility above or below me. But from my very first show back, I came to the meeting and I said, hi guys, I decided to stay. And they all went, great. Because they knew I was coming with all these leads. It was pretty funny. I said, oh, come on, you guys, you bought this, right? Anyway, we had a good laugh about it. But I got on the phone and I booked 3 shows. And at that time, we always did our meetings the second week of the month. So I had 3 shows before the end of the month. And between January 27th and 3.5 weeks later, I recruited 5 people. Okay. None of them were friends or sisters either. I do have lots of sisters. But it just shows you how my mindset changed and how if this was working for me, and at that time I was making about $60 a night, but at the mall I would have made $16 a night for that same 4 hours. So I felt I was doing great, But the mindset changed when I realized I was going to stay. And I ask you, has your mindset done the flip of sharing the opportunity?